The red fabric brushes against her skin like a wound that won't heal. She stands at the window, fingers pressed lightly to the glass, tracing shapes no one else can see. Outside, the world is quiet, too quiet. The air smells of rain and something metallic, sharp enough to taste on the back of your tongue. Somewhere far away, a bell tolls. It's not calling anyone to prayer. It's marking time, counting down moments she will never get back. She remembers blue skies once, wide open and endless. They felt like freedom when she was younger, before they took everything, her name, her body, her choices. Now, even memory feels dangerous. To think too long about what was is to invite despair in through the cracks of this fragile existence. And yet, how could she not? Memories are all she has left. Fragments of laughter, sunlight streaming through curtains, the sound of small hands slapping water in a bathtub. Her daughter's voice saying "Mama" for the first time. It still echoes sometimes, faint but stubborn, refusing to be erased. Her breath fogs the glass, and she wipes it away with the edge of her sleeve. There's nothing outside worth seeing anymore. Just walls, guards, and women dressed just like her, moving silently as shadows. Their faces are blank masks, carefully schooled into neutrality, but she knows better. Beneath those stony exteriors, there's fury and grief, rivers of both running so deep they might drown them if given half a chance. But here, emotion is a luxury no one can afford. Here, survival demands silence. A knock at the door startles her, though it shouldn't. She's been expecting him. Still, her heart hammers against her ribs as though trying to escape. He enters without waiting for permission because he doesn't need it. He owns this house, these rooms, her very life. His boots echo on the hardwood floor, each step deliberate, heavy with purpose. When he speaks, his voice is calm, almost kind, but it makes her stomach twist anyway. Kindness from men like him always does. It's a trick, a weapon disguised as gentleness. "Are you ready?" he asks, though it isn't really a question. She nods, lowering her eyes. That's what they want: submission, obedience, invisibility. Anything less invites punishment, and she's learned by now where the lines are drawn. Crossing them means pain, humiliation, disappearance. So she keeps her head bowed, her hands clasped tightly together, until he leaves her alone again. Only then does she let herself breathe. Later, sitting in the stifling heat of the ceremony, she tries to focus on anything but the man above her. The commander's wife sits nearby, staring straight ahead, her face carved from ice. Neither woman looks at the other, though their hatred binds them tighter than any vow ever could. This room reeks of desperation masked as piety, of bodies pressed together under the weight of rules neither asked for nor wanted. The ritual itself is mechanical, hollow, designed to strip away every shred of humanity. Yet somewhere inside her, a spark remains, an ember glowing faintly in the dark. It whispers defiance, rebellion, hope. Hope is dangerous here. Hope gets people killed. But without it, what is there? What keeps her standing when every fiber of her being screams to run, to fight, to tear this place apart brick by brick? She thinks of stories whispered in secret, passed between handmaids like contraband. Stories of escape routes, safe houses, places where the old world still exists in fragments. Some say Canada is free, that across the border lies salvation. Others claim it's all a lie meant to keep them compliant, dangling dreams just out of reach. Either way, the thought of leaving lingers in her mind like smoke, curling around corners, impossible to banish completely. Tonight, during the mandated salvaging, she watches as another woman is dragged screaming into the courtyard. The crowd gathers quickly, eager to witness justice served, or perhaps simply relieved it isn't them this time. The accused kneels in the dirt, her face streaked with tears, begging for mercy no one will grant. Around her, the chanting begins, low and rhythmic, building to a fever pitch. Shame. Shame. The words crash over her like waves, relentless and deafening. She joins in reluctantly, mouthing the syllables without sound, knowing refusal would only draw attention she can't afford. When it's over, the body hangs limp from the gallows, swaying slightly in the breeze. Someone mutters something about adultery, But no one really cares why she died. Death has become routine here, predictable as sunrise. As the crowd disperses, she catches sight of a young girl watching from the sidelines, her eyes wide with horror. For a moment, their gazes meet, and she sees herself reflected there, young, terrified, powerless. Then the child turns away, tugging at her mother's hand, and the connection breaks. Back in her room, she strips off the red dress, folding it neatly despite the trembling in her fingers. Underneath, her skin feels raw, exposed. She steps into the shower, letting the lukewarm water wash over her, wishing it could scrub away more than just dirt. In the mirror, she studies her reflection, the hollow cheeks, the dull eyes, and wonders how much longer she'll recognize herself. How much longer before she becomes exactly what they want: obedient, silent, empty. But tonight, something shifts. Maybe it's the memory of the girl's frightened face, or maybe it's the ache in her chest that refuses to fade. Whatever it is, she finds herself reaching for the small bundle hidden beneath the loose floorboard. Inside are scraps of paper, scribbled notes, fragments of poetry stolen from books she read before the world changed. Words have power here, more than guns or fists. Words can ignite revolutions, topple regimes, rewrite history. She reads them aloud softly, tasting each syllable like forbidden fruit. "I am not yours," she whispers, her voice barely audible. "I belong to myself." It's a lie, of course. Nothing belongs to anyone in this place. Everything is owned, controlled, dictated. But saying it aloud makes her feel alive, if only for a moment. Alive and defiant. Alive and dangerous. She writes her own words next, shaky and uneven but hers alone. "We were human once," she scrawls, pressing hard enough to leave an imprint. "And we will be again." Tears blur her vision, but she doesn't stop. Writing is resistance. Writing is rebellion. Writing is proof that some part of her still exists beyond this prison. Outside, the wind picks up, rattling the windows. Somewhere distant, a dog barks, its cry lonely and desperate. She listens for a while, letting the sound anchor her to the present. Tomorrow she'll wake up, put on the red dress, and play her role. Tomorrow she'll endure whatever comes next. But tonight, in this tiny act of creation, she is free. The next morning, the world feels heavier. The air is thick with the weight of unspoken things, like the sky itself knows something terrible is coming. She walks to the market, her steps measured and deliberate, as though moving too quickly might draw attention. Around her, the other women move in synchronized silence, their red robes a sea of muted anger. They are ghosts, she thinks, ghosts stitched into fabric, forced to haunt a life they never chose. At the stall, she exchanges ration tokens for vegetables that look barely edible. The vendor doesn't meet her eyes, no one does anymore. Eye contact is risky, intimate, dangerous. Still, she lingers a moment longer than necessary, letting her fingers brush against the counter where someone has carved tiny symbols. A circle, a star, an arrow pointing upward. Messages left behind by those who came before, breadcrumbs leading somewhere unknown. She memorizes them without thinking, tucking them away in the back of her mind like treasures. Maybe they mean nothing, or maybe they mean everything. As she turns to leave, a hand brushes hers. For a heartbeat, she freezes, panic rising like bile in her throat. But when she looks up, it's only Ofglin, her shopping partner, her shadow. Ofglin's face is unreadable, but there's a flicker in her eyes, a spark of recognition, of shared suffering. Without speaking, Ofglin slips something into her palm, a crumpled scrap of paper, folded so small it could be mistaken for lint. She nods almost imperceptibly and walks away, disappearing into the crowd. Later, alone in her room, she unfolds the note with trembling hands. The words are simple, stark, and searing. There's a way out. Her breath catches, sharp and shallow. It's not the first time she's heard rumors of escape, but this feels different. This feels real. She reads the note again and again, each word carving itself deeper into her soul. A way out. Freedom. Life beyond the walls of Gilead. Could it be true? Or is it another trap, another test designed to break her? For days, she debates what to do. Every instinct tells her to stay quiet, to keep her head down and survive. Survival is all that matters here, or so she's been told. Yet the note burns in her pocket, a constant reminder of what could be. At night, she dreams of running, of crossing borders and finding sunlight on the other side. She dreams of holding her daughter again, of hearing her laugh, of feeling whole. And then she wakes, drenched in sweat, the reality of her prison crashing over her like waves. One evening, during a rare moment alone in the garden, Ofglin approaches her. "You got my message," she says, her voice barely above a whisper. "I did," she replies, careful to keep her tone neutral. "What does it mean?" Ofglin hesitates, glancing around to ensure they're truly alone. "It means there's hope," she says finally, "if you're willing to take the risk." The word tastes strange on her tongue, foreign and fragile. She wants to believe it, to cling to it like a lifeline. But trust is a luxury she can't afford, not here. "Why me?" she asks, her voice trembling despite her best efforts. "Because I see it in you," Ofglin says simply. "The fight. The fire. You haven't let them take it all yet." Tears prick at the corners of her eyes, but she blinks them away. "And if I'm caught?" Ofglin's expression hardens. "Then we die trying. Isn't that better than living like this?" She doesn't answer right away. Instead, she looks up at the sky, searching for stars hidden behind clouds. Somewhere out there, beyond the reach of this place, people are living free lives. Loving who they choose. Speaking their minds. Being human. Is it worth risking everything to find them? Yes, she decides. It has to be. That night, she writes one last message on the wall of her room, etching the words deep into the plaster with a stolen nail. "We will rise." It's a promise, to herself, to Ofglin, to everyone who's ever been silenced. Then she gathers what little she can carry and waits for the signal. When it comes, a soft whistle from the alley behind the house, she moves without hesitation. Heart pounding, breath shallow, she slips out the door and into the darkness. Ofglin is waiting for her, along with two others she doesn't recognize. Together, they move like shadows, slipping through cracks in the city's armor. Each step feels like stepping off a cliff, but she keeps going, driven by a force stronger than fear. They reach the edge of the city just as dawn begins to break, painting the horizon in shades of orange and pink. Ahead of them lies the forest, dense and wild, a gateway to the unknown. Behind them, the towers of Gilead loom like specters, watching but unable to follow. For the first time in years, she feels the wind on her face without barriers, without walls. It smells of pine and earth, of possibility. "This is where we part ways," Ofglin says, turning to her. "From here, you're on your own." Fear grips her chest, but she forces herself to nod. "Thank you," she whispers, her voice breaking. Ofglin smiles faintly. "Don't thank me. Just don't give up." With that, she disappears into the trees, leaving her to face the journey ahead. Alone but not broken, she takes her first step into the wilderness, each stride carrying her farther from the nightmare she left behind. The path is uncertain, fraught with danger, but she walks anyway. Because somewhere out there is freedom. Somewhere out there is hope. And she'll keep walking until she finds it, or until there's nothing left to lose. In the distance, a bird sings, its melody piercing the stillness. She stops for a moment, closing her eyes and letting the sound wash over her. It's a song of defiance, of resilience, of life persisting against all odds. Opening her eyes, she presses forward, her heart beating in time with the rhythm of the forest. She doesn't know what lies ahead. No one does. But for the first time in a long time, she believes it might be worth finding out. Feel like you're meant for more, but don't know how to get there? You're not alone. Every success story starts with doubt and a spark. The Self-Made Millionaire, Zero to Wealth isn't just a book. It's your roadmap to purpose, confidence, and success, built on real lessons from real millionaires. One reader said, "It didn't feel like a book. It felt like my future talking to me." Inside, you'll find the exact mindset and principles used by the world's most successful people. No fluff, just real, life-changing wisdom. Ready to take the first step? Get it 100% free, Just subscribe and comment "book" below.